Welcome back! In today's video I'll be showing you how to add animations to objects in Microsoft PowerPoint. We'll get straight into it. So to start with, we need an object to first animate. I'm going to get a shape here by going to Insert and Shape, but you'll obviously have whatever you want to animate ready. So we have a blue box and we're going to start simple. So to animate it, we want to select it first and go to the Animations tab here at the top. We've got a lot of animations here at the top to choose from. We've got the green ones, which are sort of appearances. We've got yellow ones, which change something about the appearance of the object. And then we've got red, which is exits. And if you were to scroll down to the bottom or click on the more arrow, we've got some motion paths here. So this is movement. So we'll start with a nice and simple entrance if we just choose the fade option. So now that we've added that appearance, we've got a little box with a number 1 in here that indicates that it's the first and it's obviously the only animation that we've got currently. If we were to hit F5 or start the slideshow, we'll start with nothing on the screen. But if we click next or spacebar or something like that, it will bring up the appearance that we've chosen. So if we're to go ahead and change that to shape, you'll see that it's using an oval shape now, and if we do the same, F5 and then next, it will insert it as we've chosen it with these appearances. So that's nice and simple. There are a few things we can change though. We can choose this duration here. It's currently set to half a second if we're on the fade option. If we're to go ahead and choose 2 seconds, hit enter and then F5 and start the slideshow, you'll see it takes 2 seconds to fade in this time. The longer the duration, the longer the animation will go on for. In this case, it will fade in for longer, so feel free to tweak that and see which you prefer. So what I've done now is duplicated that rectangle. So if we duplicate an item that's got an animation on, it will have the same animation on the duplicated object. So if we were now to go ahead and preview it, you'll see it will fade them both in at 2 seconds. So the fade will be the same, but this one will be fading in after this one and on a separate click. You can see that it's got the number 2 there showing it's second in line. To change this, we want to go to the animation pane, which is here in the animations tab. And you can see we've got the sort of timeline and we can play it from here to see how it would look. So if we're selected on rectangle 4 now, you'll see it will play out number 4 and then 5. So we can preview it from here, but we can also change how the animations work. We can drag one, so if we drag rectangle 5 above rectangle 4, you can see that the animations have switched round now and this one will fade in first, because the numbers have changed. So the numbers, the order, that's the key thing you need to remember. If we wanted them to fade in at the same time, we can go ahead and select one and we can say start with previous. So we'll obviously want to choose the second one here. So click on the drop down box and choose start with previous. And they've now both got number 1 because they'll happen at the same time. So if we preview that now, click play all, they'll both fade in at the same time. So we can use this principle of timings on all future animations, so I won't need to cover it again, but just looking through at some of the other options we've got, we can choose start after previous, so that'll automatically start with the after the previous one. So if we were to preview that now, I've only clicked once and it will start them both automatically. So if you've got a page where you don't want to be constantly clicking to bring in the next animation, you can choose that option to make them start automatically. So to recap, the main 3 options are start on click, so it'll start on the click, start with the previous, or start after the previous automatically. So if you wanted 2 animations to occur on one click, but one following the other automatically, we can do that. So what I mean by that is if we were to click, we could start one animation, then automatically the next one would start, but with a delay, we can do that. We want to go to the second one for this example, which is rectangle 4. Make sure it's on start after previous, so that'll, if we preview that now to keep updated, it will just one click will start the first and then automatically start the second straight away. You can see how it's looking there. You've got the green box representing the timeline of that animation, with that one starting straight after the next one. To add a delay, you want to select it, the second one in this case, go to timing, and then you can choose a delay. So it should be on start after previous, and then if we added a delay of 2 seconds and then previewed it with just one click, it will start the first, delay 2 seconds, and then start the second. So if we've got 2 items fading in, one with a 2-second delay, which is this one, if we wanted to fade these items back out, we could do. To do this, we want to select the item we want to fade. We'll choose this one first, and then we want to go to the Add Animation button. We'll choose a fade again, and you can see it will preview it there, but add it on to the bottom of this list. You can see it's also added the number 2 here because that's the second sequence of animations in the presentation at the moment. So if we were to preview it now, we've got the first click, which will bring in this one, the 2-second delay that we added to add in the second one, and then the presentation will stop at that point, awaiting our next click to remove them or to fade it out. So if we were to click, it will fade that one out, and we haven't added anything to the object on the left, so nothing will happen with that, but you can follow the steps we did in the first bit to do that for the second one. And that's fading in and out. You can use any of these animations here like we did with the fade, and the principles will stay the same. The next part I'll show you is how to do movements. These are slightly different because you have to draw paths and things like that. We'll start simple with a line. So we're going to go and select our object first, click on line. So the downward movement is the default. This is how it looks at the moment without it selected. You can see we've got the number 1 like before. If we were to click on the line, you can see it's added in a faded box. We can use this red circle here and then drag this faded box to change where the line goes. So if we wanted a horizontal movement, we could choose that spot there. Preview it now, it will move it across on the click. And once again, we can use all of these settings here like we looked at previously. We can start with previous, start after previous, and use the delays and things like that in the same way. And then finally, we could go ahead and add a custom path. Click on that option, and then we've got the option to draw the path. So if we hold down the left click button, we can choose a custom path. If you're to let go of left click, it will use a straight line between where our last point was and where our cursor is. If you just click where you want the line to go, we can draw in lines, so you can see how that differs from holding down and clicking. And then once you're happy with the final location, wherever you want it to end up, hit the escape button and it will draw that path and fly around like that. I know I've messed around with that back in the day. If you wanted to do more of an advanced animation, you could probably work it out with this custom path method. And so that's going to be the introduction to animations in Microsoft PowerPoint. If you want to see a more advanced option in the future, I can do that. So it just leaves me with saying thanks so much for watching. I hope you found the video helpful. If you did, remember to leave a like. Feel free to subscribe. I'll see you in another video.